Hey everyone, happy December 5th. It's Wednesday, hump day, and it's freezing outside. Oh my gosh, I hate the cold weather. It is December's Mortgage Nerd Market Report update. Use these slides, screenshot it, use it for your social media. If you want it branded on your own, do that. I give you guys this information to help you get this information out to our consumers. All I hope is that you return the favor and send your buyers to me. But use this stuff. It's good stuff. And there's a lot of stuff we're going to talk about today about listings sitting on the market longer. We're going to talk about our consumers' expectations and projections and all that good stuff. So let me jump in. Everyone's been asking us, where's the real estate market headed? Interest rates are going through the roof. I'm going to wait a year before I buy. I wanted to read you guys this quote from the chief economist of the NBA. He says, I expect that home sales growth will pick up again over the course of the next year, even with somewhat higher mortgage rates. But the pace of home price growth will likely slow. I think this is a welcome change and in line with our forecast. And remember, in our last Mortgage Nerd Market report, we talked about how homes just aren't appreciating as much or as fast as they were. Recently, we've seen anywhere between a 6 to 7% annual appreciation on these homes, and so sellers are expecting to list their homes at a certain price point, but it's not that the homes are depreciating in value, but instead of, let's say, a 6% appreciation, it's more like a 3% appreciation. Now, these are nationwide statistics. What I would suggest you as the agent is become an expert in your area. So one of the brokerages I recently met with, Magnolia Realty, they've got little areas in Argyle and so forth. And so find out what the average appreciation has been in that market and be the agent that has the data and those statistics so you can show people, hey, if you bought your home in 2014, the average price per square foot was X. Now in 2018, it's this. You could potentially have this much equity. That is an advisor of data. It sounds different than what everybody else is doing, which is just now's the time to sell, but there's no data to support the information. So again, use this for that and become very strategic and a data advisor almost in your market. Where are interest rates headed? Well, they're not pretty. Interest rates are expected to get at least a half a point higher by the end of next year. So if homes are continuing to increase in value and interest rates are continuing to increase, then when somebody asks you, is now the time to sell and buy? The answer is yes, because every day you wait, it's costing you money because homes are still appreciating and so are interest rates. This next slide here shows you how the year-over-year change in price has been nationwide. So we all know that the lower price homes, those starter homes, there's more demand for them. So they've been appreciating around 8.2, whereas the higher end, they're appreciating at 4.4. These appreciation rates will slow down. Use this in your listing presentation. A lot of people ask us, when should I sell my home? Well, I'm not going to list my home until the spring because that's the busy market. The number one reason why not to wait until the spring is because the supply of listing increases substantially entering the new year, including new construction, which would lower, obviously, the demand for your home because there's going to be more competition. And so use this in your presentation and use it for social media. When do most listings come on the market? Well, the answer is in the second quarter of the year, April, May, and June. So if you wait to list your home in those months, you're just going to have more competition for the buyers that are out there. And ultimately, you want that buyer to listing ratio low because there's less competition. So this is a good slide to show your clients. Inventory levels this time last year. This gives you a good idea nationwide of some of the statistics there. This shows you that inventory levels and the month supply. It shows you that sweet spot is right now in between November and February. So again, in your listing presentations, if you've got people on the fence, screenshot this and send it out to your social media markets. We are right now in the sweet spot of when you should list your home because there's not as much competition. And so it was interesting. I was talking to one of our top agents, Jen Harris, and we were talking about some of her listings. And I mean, we had a round table a couple weeks ago and this came up, and I wanted to show this to you guys because it's for homes that are sitting. There's a couple of reasons why, and I know this is a little tough to read, but let me just walk you through this real quick. So let's say you've got that first-time home buyer or that second buyer that bought their home. Let's say they bought in 2014. They bought a $350,000 home, 5% down. Their interest rate was 3.75. Their monthly payment for principal and interest only, just to keep the math simple, was around $1,500 a month. And now they're saying, you know what, we really need an extra bedroom, or we really want that house with a pool, or we really need a 3-car garage. We want to look at buying another home. Now more than ever, it is so important to get them in front of us so we can run numbers for them, because here's what they're thinking in their mind. They think interest rates are around the same because they're not as tuned in as we are. So if they go up on a purchase price of $100,000, get them that extra couple of bedrooms, get them that more storage, that more garage. If the interest rate was around the same, around 3.875, they're thinking their monthly payment would go up around $400 to $500 a month for $100,000 more in home. But that's not the case. And so the reality is that interest rates are higher. And so that $450,000 home didn't increase your payment $400 to $500. It increased it almost $800 to $2,360. And so what's happening is people are having a little bit of a gut check. They're like, is that pool or that extra bedroom or those closets worth an extra $820 a month? That's a lot of money a month. And a lot of people are saying, you know what, we're going to hang tight. We're going to wait next year because we think rates are going to go down, which of course they won't, which we have to educate them on that. But they're so prideful of that low interest rate that they're really second guessing if they need versus want to buy that bigger home for their family. Now, when push comes to shove and they don't have any more room, they will. But this is the psychology that's going on in their mind. So we literally had a client, they put an offer on a new construction home. They've got a deposit. They sold their home, and they reached out to us last week, and they said, we think we made a mistake. We think that this new monthly payment that we're paying is too much. And you don't want that kind of transaction to go down. You want full disclosure. You want them to understand where their payments are. You don't want those surprises because that's not good for either one of us. That's bad business. But if you're wondering why these homes are sitting, well, people are prideful with their interest rate right now. And if they bought November 8th of this year, interest rates hit the highest point that they've ever been in 7 years. So if they purchased a home in the last 3, 4, 5 years, they're in a real payment shock and interest rate shock right now because they've never seen rates this high. Now, if they purchased more than 7 years ago, it's not so bad. So one of the questions you're going to want to add to your arsenal is, when was the last time that you purchased a home or refinanced? And that'll give you an idea of, do they need a reality check about where their new mortgage payment is going to be with these rates going up? Rates are still tax deductible, but it's our job to educate them. This next slide talks about myths. So 75% of people right now believe that renting is more affordable than buying a home, which is crazy. I have a whole videos, I've got all kinds of stuff that talks about how you are 45 times more, have a higher net worth when you own a home. We all know that the principal amount that goes to your loan, whether your home appreciates or not, tax benefit, the principal, there's no way that this is possible. But again, the psychology behind the clients we're meeting is that their perception is that it's 75% cheaper. They surveyed the millennials, the Gen X, and the baby boomers. Again, a good item for you to screenshot. Renters reporting that they're working toward owning, and you can see the top 3 reasons why they haven't purchased yet is because they can't afford to buy, but they would like to at some point. They're working towards it, or they have no interest in owning a home. Which is interesting that 42%, a lot of people think that the millennials are the ones that have no interest in owning a home. They like to be mobile. They don't want to commit. But actually, the baby boomers are the ones that are the highest in the survey that was completed. So again, if the number one reason is that they can't afford to buy a home, we have to really dissect why that is. Well, people today still think that you need 20% down payment. We have loan programs with as little as 3% down and no monthly mortgage insurance. Of course, the VA loans and USDA loans are 0% down, no mortgage insurance. We even have down payment assistance and grant loans that allows people to get into a home with very little money down. So if that's the number one reason, then we need to be marketing and putting on our social media feeds and outlets and everything that there are these programs out there to help you get into a home so that you can work towards building a higher net worth and just throwing money away. Because if you're renting, you're paying somebody's mortgage. So again, these are just things that we need to talk about in our presentations and online so that we can demyth some of these myths that are out there. And then lastly, events that would influence your decision to buy a home. 63% said, again, being able to afford a home. So again, if you're running Facebook ads or anything like that, this is the #1 pain point. There's two things that motivate people. It's pain and pleasure. So you need to start running ads and bringing this up in discussions when you're talking to clients. The second most common one was ready to settle in one location, having a stable job, getting married, and having a child. So again, the pain point is do you have enough money to purchase a home? And we can help with that, because again, people still think that you need 20%. So just a reminder, we do have the winter buyer and home selling guides. If you want a copy of these, it's if you need a buying a home guide or selling your home in the winter, you can co-brand it. We can get that out to you. Lastly, thank you so much. Finish the year strong. We've got a few more weeks till Christmas, and then the new year pops up. So if you haven't started your business plan or want a copy of our marketing plan, we'll be happy to send that out to you guys. Finish the year strong. You know how to get a hold of us. If we can help your buyers in any way, just give us a call. Thanks. Bye.